Timer. I see it. I have to get rid of that. Well, I am Anthony's mother, and I really think we can only raise our children till 18. We have to instill our values into them, give them the basics, and what they do with their life, well, is pretty much gonna be how they build it. I felt that I neglected him, but he reassured me that I didn't. So, you know, it took some getting used to. Um, I was up front with him when he told me. I was like, yeah. And I said, well, okay, we have to set some boundaries. There's some places you can do this, and there's some places you can't. And we set the boundaries. He's cool with it. Unlike his other friends, you either accept it and set the boundaries, and they go, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they'd go, well, we really don't like it. No, it's like, why didn't you say this to him in the first place? But we had set our boundaries. We've come to an understanding about that. I really think before parents pass judgment on their son or daughter's choice of diaper mate, that you really should meet the person. You're judging it like, oh my God, for age, okay? My God, this guy's so much older than you. This guy could be like a freaking pedophile, and he just wants to stay legal. Well, not necessarily. They are not pedophiles. My son is not a pedophile. I disagree with pedophiles. Had I thought it was a pedophile situation, I would have cut him off at the knees. Because I'm his mother, I have that right. He is a lot younger by age. Well, look at me. I guess I would be considered younger than my chronicle age, because it's like, oh God, really early in the morning now. We have been at this all night, and I'm still up and I'm still alive, and look, my eyes are open. I don't have toothpicks sticking in them. No, I didn't take a nap. I was in the other room the whole time. You really got to meet a person. You can't just base it on one thing and one thing only. You can't say, yeah, age, kick it out. Just like you can't say, ooh, diapers, and throw it away. You just can't do that to your kid. You gotta be supportive. We are each individuals. I myself prefer to be an out-of-the-box thinker, which will probably get me in a lot of trouble and probably right back. But, that wasn't really your mother, that was your sister. I am his mother. But no, as far as, hold on a second. As far as, condemning somebody, you have to meet them first. It's just, this day and age, they communicate by computers. Wasn't like in my day, we just going out of the bar after work. You met people and you got their phone number, you call them. If you did get a blind date, you did. yeah, look for the person with the red flower, and then you'd carry a little silk red flower with you. And, if you thought the person was worth your time and effort, or you saw a total creep that just cleaned up, on weekends, then you just didn't put your red flower on, and you just walked away. Um, you know, People used to do dating on the radio, the blind dates. You didn't know what you were getting yourself into. I'm sure I'm probably dating myself now, but there was a lot of, you know, my phone's going off in the other room. There was a lot of ways to meet this, and I myself took it upon myself because my son brought the first computer we ever ran into Windows 95 in 97 into the house. And he set it up and went to work and said, "Here, find your way around the computer." Well, I watched him go to some date sites, and I myself took it upon myself to go to a date site. And I won't say what city I was in or what city this guy worked for. He was a policeman, I can tell you that much. And he didn't like it because one of my friend's sons were at the restaurant where I chose to meet him. And I said I had to get going because I had things to do. It was election day. And I took off, and I never bothered him. This is my first try at computer dating. He had to have been hiding something. He just didn't want to be seen in public. And he called me back, and he said, "I think I know where you live." "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah, but the name just doesn't match up." He ran my plate. Now, yeah, cops should not run plates. I quickly said, "Well, if you want to come to our city, let's test the response time of our police." And the man never showed up. And there was one other gentleman that texted me or emailed me, and I refused to date with him. And he was a fireman, and I can tell you where he was from. He was from Cleveland, Ohio. He is no longer a fireman because he ran around picking young ladies and older ladies up on the internet and raping them. And he got caught. There's all sorts of creeps and crumbs out there. And what I did and what my son would do is we'd send each other an email. Here I am, I'm going out with this guy, give him the guy's name, give him the guy's address. If I don't come back, you've got the base information. That can be done still today. But like I said, the parents should get to meet the person before they pass judgment. My son is not a bad guy. He doesn't look his age. As I don't look mine. I'm not going to tell you what I am, but I do not look my age. My parents did not look their age. My mother died when she was 84, and nobody believes she was 84. So you can't base it on a chronicle age. It's just a number. You got to think, and you got to take your brain and take it outside the box and look around, because there's more important things. If you meet this guy, or girl, in the whatever that case may be, because there are women that assault people. It was on the news. A 14 to 16-year-old girl shoplifted knives at Walmart, and she attacked a Uber driver.
Which is kind of scary if I might interject. I also drive for Uber.
Yes.
That's a scare that goes through my mind every night with every trip. Do I trust my riders that are with me? You don't know, but
This driver pulled into a condominium. The girl, after she stabbed him, stole his car. They found her hiding, and there was blood all over her, blood all over the car. And the guy lived long enough to get to the hospital. He died during surgery. So you can't just say, oh, well, my daughter. Your daughter could be like that girl. And then, the tables change. Just like, it was a true story. The lady lived in Chicago, and basically, she was an abuser, which so was her mother, an abuser, and that's where she learned it. And she ended up killing a young man, and getting one of his construction buddies to help her hide the body. So you can't just say it's going to be a man that's going to take you out and attack you. If you're really, really dead set that this person is a mass murderer, do a records check. You can do that. You ask the young man, do you have anything to hide? Take him down to the local police or sheriff's office. Give him the social security number. You might find a speeding ticket. I mean, again, you might find out that this is somebody you don't want your child to hang with. Same for a girl. If they're really honest and they have nothing to hide, they're going to give you that social security number in front of the police. I don't expect them to give it to you, but, if you say, well, oh, come on, you really want to date my daughter, or you really want to date my son? Let's go over here to the station. If I had nothing to hide, I would say, gotcha, on this. And I would willingly give law enforcement the permission to check me. I have nothing to hide. And they would show it to you. And, you could even get these things online. And they're cheap. I mean, almost they're cheaper than a dog's DNA kit. I have a dog, I want a DNA, but those kits are so expensive. And I can go do an ID check on somebody for half the price of that DNA. And you have all these options that you can check the person out. You can talk to them in depth. Are you just wanting sex? Or if my daughter says no, is no going to stay? Or there was a thing my cousin sent me, and it said, replace the word sex with T. If you feel really uneasy about talking and saying sex or anything that would imply to sex, change that word to T. If my daughter says she doesn't want any tea, are you going to force it on her? Are you going to pour it down her throat? If you go, would you like to go to the bedroom and have tea? And my daughter says no. It's no. Not after, well, let's go out and get a couple bottles of wine. Yeah, then maybe tea would be acceptable. No. You trust your daughter. You trust your son. Are they going to do right? I would say, thank you. God bless you. Because I'm tight. McDonald's is still getting to him, just like it did my husband. They got allergies, man. This one's sneezing, the other one's coughing. But no, really, you interject that word, you go on with it. There was also the Darwin Awards, but we won't go into that. But that was pretty good. I mean, my son thought I was dying, and it was just I was laughing so hard. it was a young lady and a man, and they went through what they did for the evening. It was take from the Visa commercials where they go, at the end, priceless. It was hilarious. But I'm not going to tell you that because there was really some things that should not be said on here. It has nothing to do with this. But no, you take the whole person, you look at the whole person, you ask them questions. You know, um, my son was in one relationship, and the young lady stated that she was like 24, and just rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, my hair stood up on the back of my neck. And then she was talking politics, and she said that she was a staunch Republican. Take staunch. Stick it where the sun touches. And she turned out to be a great person. Maybe. I don't know what she's doing now. Thank God she's no longer here with us. It's like, she made herself to be something she wasn't. And I told my son, and she's like, well, okay, I'm really not 24, I'm 19. Convince me of that. Chronologically, she may have been 19, but she acted like a freaking junior high student. And it's like, if you want to be in junior high, then you maybe should have went and picked somebody up that was in junior high. Because, there are, like, the times I'm talking about restrictions and shit. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to say that word, but it's true. Was like when my husband and I would go out with my son and a girlfriend. And we really expect them to indulge in some adult conversation. If you can't carry on adult conversation in an adult setting, you definitely need a tune-up because, you're breaking all the rules there, which this lady did. I mean, she would be like, supposedly from this great family, but she'd sit there and play games on her phone, and she'd like make sure she just answered in quick little yeses, and she would never. But one time, okay, it was kind of hilarious because we have a swimming pool, and I only had 2 dogs when Tony got the swimming pool, and the first couple of years we found nothing but leaves in our swimming pool after the winter. Well, I got my 3rd dog, and she's part beagle, part pit bull. Well, we started finding every 2 weeks a dead squirrel in the pool. Squirrels float like rocks. They swim like rocks. By the beagle flushed it out. The dingo pup chased it down, and the Carolina dog, the mother, would sit by the pool. And of course, the squirrel would jump to miss her because she would eat him, and it would land in the pool, which then it was gone. And it would float to the surface. Well, we found this one that had big kahunas. And we were sitting there laughing about it. And this girl said, oh my God, if I was at home, we discussed coffee or tea, but we never discussed kahunas on a drowned squirrel. And it's like, come off of it. Can't you have a little bit of a sense of humor about you? I mean, everybody laughed about the squirrel. I had foreign friends on my Facebook that laughed about the squirrel and his kahunas. But this lady couldn't even laugh. I mean, she was so tight in her box, she could not come out of it. Could not. And, parents can be judgmental. Now, I will open my mouth only if I think, like in that case, he was, like my aunt. She had a big pig. She had a big middle link in the pig's nose because she knew she was going to. Pig was running away. She knew she was going to go have to hook it up to the back of the tow truck and drag this 350-pound pig back to the farm. And when I think he's going to turn into that pig with a nose ring, I'll let him know. You know, um, you got to meet the person. She said, make your opinion. Talk to them, and then talk to your child and go, do you really want to end up as a pig with a nose ring? Look what you picked up. Talk to your child about the pros and the cons. I say your child. Because they are still our children. They'll be our children until we're gone. And, it's always, which is harder, a parent losing a child or a child losing a parent. I mean, that day will come and go with all of us. Face it, life can be short. It can be long, but, it can also get shortened. Numerous diseases and things. But, you've got to discuss this and see what your child, if you really get that hair raising on your neck as a parent, this person creeps me out. But I mean, you can't just say creepy internet boyfriend or creepy internet girlfriend. You haven't had the chance to meet them. Now, hey, there are, even before the internet, a couple creepy girls in junior high he dated, and it was like, the one was like, always constantly rubbing up against his shoulder. And I was taking them to the movie. And I told this young lady that she should move over. Because if he wanted somebody rubbing his shoulder, he could go home and his cat would be glad to do it for him. If you have just anything like that, I mean, that would trigger you, you have to tell them. You don't just say no. Final answers. No. Get to know the person, then discuss pros and cons. We as parents can ruin things for our kids. We can ruin a lot of things. We can ruin their lives if we chose to. I was very open with my son, and just like the argument that caused us not to talk, I told him, and he was like, leave me right off. Well, when he came back, I didn't know he was back for a while. Till his high school friend that couldn't hold a wife for a year made him call me. And I said, well, you know where I'm at. Just out in the middle of nowhere. We used to lay claim to a grain silo, but it was. So we don't even have that anymore. Just it's nothing but soy and corn down here. Just nothing. Just nothing. Sorry about that. I had to take a drink. It's just pop. No, but that's what you should do as a parent. You might disagree that, oh, you can't do this type of thing. But like I said, if you talk about it, And you put restrictions on it, like, grandma's coming for dinner. I don't want any crinkly plastic. Can you refrain? As a parent, you can still set your boundaries. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. Just clean up after yourself. If grandma's coming over, can you refrain? Um, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the holidays, family get-togethers. We don't want to hear the crinkling plastic. Can you take a day off? You'd be surprised how much a child will comply. Now, you could turn around and tell said child, boy or girl, no. Well, you tell that kid no long enough, that kid's just going to do it to spite you. Just spite you. And I will tell you, I did that to my parents. I ran out and got married. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm going to get even with you guys because you don't like any of the guys I bring up. And they certainly did not like my husband. And I'll tell you what happened. My mom went to work that day and never showed up at the wedding. My dad, I said, are you coming? And he said, no, I gotta mow the yard. He went out and mowed his backyard. My sister showed up with her 3 kids, and it was like, yeah, okay. So yeah, they can spite you, and this age thing, now I don't know, 16 is just too young. Really, you should wait till you're 18. Because in that way, 18 or above. Because in that way, there's no gray areas. There's no, well, you can get interfering with custody, interfering with, what's the other thing?
Delinquency of a minor.
Yeah, delinquency of a minor. You can't, interfering with parental
rights,
yeah, custodial parent rights. So it's better to wait until you're 18 before you really get into this. Because, 17 can cause problems, and 16 especially. If you're any younger, forget it. It just, it's more when you're on your own. I mean, if you're going to school or you got your own job or whatever, you're pretty much an adult. I'm sure you might live at home with mom. My son did, for quite a while. I was, going to give him my sewing room upstairs, but instead he took the spare bedroom downstairs. So, yeah, he lived with me, but he was never like, a creepy troll in my basement. I mean, I saw him flush a lot of people because they were untruthful or they wanted money, money, money. One girl still tries to get a hold of him, and she was like broken English, and she was like, well, I owe the people I live with all this money. It's like, well, at that point, you give them the 800 number. That's for sex slaves and sex workers and underpaid immigrant workers, the migrant workers, if you're really being forced into a bad situation. They do have that number and they will pull you out. If you text them or call them, they will come get you. And that's what that young lady should have been doing instead of asking everybody for money. So yeah, you see a lot, and he knew what to flush. I totally trust his decisions on things. I myself, no, I would never do that. But, I did have my things I did when I was 18. Um, they weren't wearing diapers or anything like that, but okay, they were some things. I, you know, what didn't we play with back then? You know, you had your illegal marijuana, which back then I can tell you was a lot cheaper than what the kids are spending on today, and it smelled good. I mean, I've smelled it when we've been out, and it's like, man, oh, if that's marijuana, what the hell is that? I wonder. Did mom put some oregano in it? Because I mean, it don't smell nothing like what I smell. We would go to these concerts. Um, they weren't quite as bad as Woodstock, but you could get lost. And oh, hey, let's not forget the drive-ins. Yeah, you could get lost there. You could not find your car. I mean, you always took somebody with you and counted cars, and you hope the person was sober enough. Otherwise, you might not make it back to your car. When I was in my 30s, I was taking a friend back to Oklahoma, and the gentleman is blind, and my driver had never been out of the state of Ohio. He himself was on sensory overload, and they kind of left me at a truck stop, and that wasn't even funny. But I mean, like I said, I did things. I did things when I was a kid, and my parents disagreed. No, they searched my room once for marijuana. I hid it at my girlfriend's house. They couldn't find it, but her mother found it, and she asked, "Why were you looking in my pillowcase?" And her mother went forth a Lysol, and we just started laughing. Why would we keep Lysol in a pillowcase? And her mother turned just red and stomped out of the room. There was a time, like I said, there was times that I did things I knew I shouldn't have done. Like sneak beer into Sue's house when I had one of those big coats and I slit the lining and I'd stick beer. This kind of stuff I did. And now this computer age has just changed everything. Um, Kids can't experience the simple way of life. Everything's electronic, everything's moving faster. Back then, maybe all the diaper mates would have met at the drive-in or something. You never know. Maybe there were some at the drive-in. I just didn't see anybody. But, you got to give the people a chance. You got to see how your kid interacts with her diaper mate or his diaper mate. You can't just say no. And you can't, I'm telling you to meet them. And I don't mean let them pull in the drive. Don't even let them get out of the car. Put your hands on the door and this is what I think. No, that's not the setting. You guys go have a picnic. There's plenty of parks. Um, you know, Plan an outing. You can go out and you spend, a couple hours to know the person. You can't know the person in 10 minutes. You're never going to know a person in 10 minutes. You've got to give it some time. And, you might find out the person might be worth it. Oh, hey, maybe dad is having a problem with the lawnmower. Yeah. Maybe the diaper mate can help him. Or, mom's having a problem and the girl diaper mate can help her. I mean, decide what color of flowers you want to plant in front of your house and, what kind of creepy flocks you want to put out there. Well, actually, it's creeping flocks, but I call it creepy because it's pretty creepy how it takes over. And, you got to learn something about the person. You can't just, pass judgment. It's a human being. It's not a thing. It's a human being. I would never put somebody down. I would talk to the person first. And that's what you've got to do. And as a parent, you owe that to your child. You owe that to your child to talk to the person, to get an honest feel. Said, if you really think that it's bad, take the person to the police station. Or, better yet, have him type his information or her information into the computer so you don't even see the social security number. Run a background check on name alone. You can do that. And, you'll find a lot. You'll find out a lot about a person. My favorite, like I said, is just dragging the person. Just say you're going to drag them down to the local law enforcement, whatever it may be. Because right then, when you see the sweat come off their forehead and they sit there and they look at their watch or look at a clock and go, oh shit, it's really late. I gotta get out of here. It was nice to talk to you guys. Maybe we can do that the next time I come out. You got somebody hiding something. Whereas if the person says, oh sure, I had time to kill us. 9 chances out of 10, that person has nothing to hide. Nothing. An open book. And that's what you should have with your child's diaper maid, is an open book. Not somebody trying to hide that they're, this, that, and the other thing that they aren't. And, that's one sure thing that really works is ask them to go to local law enforcement. You'd be surprised. You'll find out who the creepies are. As far as knowing, I like I said, that was a what did I do wrong? And it's like I finally came to terms that he was right. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything to him to make him that way. I didn't neglect him. I didn't. Maybe it was, from a toy he didn't get. Maybe he wanted, a pet alligator, and I said no. So now he's gonna, go getting diapers just to get me back for the alligator I didn't buy him at the pet store or something. Octopus, whatever. But that's not the reason. Look at what we've gone through with I'll probably get this wrong. LB
LTGBQ.
LTBG.
LTGBQ.
Oh, whatever. Anyhow, a lot of people blame themselves for that. And, you can't help it. It's not the way they were raised. There's a very nice gentleman. He has a very nice bar. But he has to keep changing the name. One time he changed it to a sports bar. Because everybody says it's the local gay bar. Just because the guy is gay. And I have been there, and the gentleman's very polite, very kind. But he has to keep people on their toes. And to make him change his business name, you're not coming there. I'm not going to go there because it's a gay bar. How do you know it's a gay bar? Because I know the guy that owns it. There's another. Let's just stay in our box and think about this. People aren't acting like box turtles anymore. They just kind of fold up when they get threatened, and you can't do that. This electronic age, it's killing us. You've got to get out of this little box that they call a computer. Talking on a computer. But no, you really do got to get away from this thing because, we just don't interact anymore. People don't talk on the phone like they used to. everything on the internet. Now, okay, I can see this being useful for our servicemen, you know, to Skype because it would be pretty hard to find a phone to call home. I mean, and you do get to see your children. You do get to see. Now, in that case, it's good. But for the rest of us, we need to get out of this damn box of a computer and we need to start meeting people. And we've got to get over the fear of everybody's out to get us or get our kids. And we got to start, more communication. And that is what's wrong with this global society. You know, yeah, sure, you can touch somebody across one of the big ponds, but wouldn't it be nicer to hear the person's voice and talk to them on the? I like personally to talk on the phone. I really don't care for computer thingies. Maybe it's because I'm old. I don't know, but you do. You need to get out of this computerized box. You got to get your head about yourself, and you got to talk to these kids. Um, because otherwise, that's how you stay is in this little box, and you'll never get out of it. And you need communications. Communications is very necessary. And if you think you've done something, talk to your child. But I assure you, you probably haven't. Um, I am going to get off here because I really don't know how much time. But those are my takes. And, there's nothing that a parent does to a child. You can just give them their basics. I mean, that's all you can do. You instill their faith in God. You instill, if you believe in God, you might believe in an oak tree. So I gotta be like kind of politically correct. I can't just say God because I might offend somebody. So whatever you believe him to be, we instill that in our child. You teach them. You gotta go to school. You gotta learn this stuff. And we have to teach them how to correctly hold a fork or a spoon so it doesn't look like a shovel is going in your mouth. Because some people hold it like this with their fist, shovel, whereas most people, hold it like this. And in the spoon, and they take little sips of their soup or little bites of ice cream. That's what we got to teach our kids. Um, you know, schools don't teach them how to eat. I know quite a few people. I see that, and it's like, oh, what happened to them? They're not my child. I shouldn't worry. We instill the value of money, saving your money. Um, I know my son came to me because he was like maybe 14 years old, and he wanted to be a locksmith, and he needed $500. Like I have $500. No, I don't have $500. I said something else, but I won't use that on here. It's totally politically incorrect. And he went out and he got himself a summer job, and he earned the money to put himself through that course. Well, now he's 50. He comes back at me and goes, "Now I need to stock a store." It's like, what did I tell you last year? Well, he went back out, got a summer job, school system. Boom. He had all his keys. He had all his supplies. I think he learned a valuable lesson, and I think it really helped him. Now, most people would be like, "Oh, you really made your kid go get a job," and it's like, yeah, if he wants something, go earn the money. I mean, you know, maybe he wants to buy school clothes. Um, you know, Parents got to foot the bills, but if you want extra, you teach your child there is a world out And you'd be surprised. My friend here where we live, her one son went out and got a job for the summer, and he made all this money. And you know, when it came time to go back to school, he had new school clothes, and his little brother was supposed to get a job. And mommy said, as long as you're living here and going to school, you don't have to get a job if you don't. Well, in the end, guess who didn't have new school clothes? And the older brother actually went out and bought the younger one some clothes because the child learned a lesson. If you want, you best go earn your money. So you instill a work value in them. You instill all these qualities, and then at 18 you gotta let go. You just got to, because they're no longer yours. They're now 18. They're an adult. They're thrust into a real world, and if you're there going, oh, no, no, you know, you can't do that. You raise them to that point, and you raise them to think on their own. Now they're thinking, and you can't pull it back. So the only thing you can do is work with it. Question the mate, question the girl. I say mate. It doesn't mean necessarily they're going to end up being mates for life. You question as to what the relationship's going to be. I mean, do you really respect my son or my daughter? You'd be surprised. But you do have to talk. You have to communicate. And that's the only way to give the person a fair shake. And you have to accept the situation as it is and go, well, okay, but you set your boundaries, what you want to take place. And you'd be surprised. It will really work. I'm going to let my son back in here because I'm getting dry again. I've got to go wet my whistle. So, you see him? He's
I'm still here. So that would be a parent's point of view. I guess I once teased a time or two that if I was ever found in a position to where it mattered that much in trying to get a relationship started, that I always teased. I'll give references for a lot of jobs that I've had to do over the years. There actually have been background checks that needed to be ran, and I've actually more than willingly said, hey, I mean, if that might be something that's causing a problem in a particular relationship, give you a most recent copy of a clear background check. But yeah, I mean, to an extent, there, like Mom said, really, once we hit a legal age, I mean, we've as parents have pretty much given them the basics. We know right from wrong, and we should kind of, to an extent, be able to do what we want to do. So let the child live and explore. The whole point of saying no could lead in like more of a rebellious situation. That could really make things a lot worse. So yeah, I mean, anybody out there that's looking for that support, hopefully these videos shed some light on things. I guess one more thing that I had not previously spoke about, and that would be when your child comes to you and is at the point where they want to explore this and possibly explore it with someone. Um, Look at the happiness in your child. I think maybe one of the more important topics would be, we would want a happy child, and um, if you can see that what is going on here would increase the happiness of your child, I would ask, what is the harm in thusly accepting the child for ABDL, actually whatever it is they want to do. I mean, is it bringing them happiness? And you know, if it does bring them happiness, let them do it. Um, so that's a key thing there. Um, so yeah, we've been at this for a while, and there's been a couple of comments that have come in through various avenues throughout the evening and over time. And one person had actually asked, well, okay, like, do you have like a nursery room to show off or something? And it gets back to the, how serious are you? Where is your heart? Um, how prepared is the potential mate or friends circle that the person's getting involved with? And I'm not sure whether that really helps. It would have been something that should have been talked about in one of the other segments as far as where was my notes here? Actually, back to the start, possibly, what does ABDL mean to me, or wanting to find like-minded friends that are also into it. How prepared are they versus are they out to play games or being trollish? But I don't know if I'm going to do that right now because a play space like that might be better off reserved. I don't know. If maybe in the future, if more people ask if they want to see that, or if maybe an individual actually says, this is why I'd like to see this, that it would actually help. Then there probably be other videos. I mean, we might even come in and revisit some of the topics we scratched the surface on, and maybe we could be able to keep all persons' names anonymous, of course, and everything. But so and so from your town, USA, had said, okay, you touched on some topics, but this is actually a unique thing to our particular situation. Help, and we can help the Smiths in your town, USA, get through this. But yeah, 53 minutes on this video, and as you can tell, the sun rose behind us. I think we're going to check out for now, and I really wish everybody the best of luck in finding your happiness and finding the acceptance both within yourself and from friends and from family. And, best of luck and happiness in what you're out there for. So yeah, with that, I think we're pulling the curtains on this, and maybe we'll be talking again soon. Alrighty, have a good night, or as it turned out to be a good morning. Thank you for watching.